Welcome back to another Spot On Chat. I'm Rebecca Monet with Zorakle Profiles. Zorakle provides profiling tools to franchisors and franchise consultants that helps facilitate a right fit between a prospective franchisee and a franchise system. So my guest on the Spot On Chat today is Tom Porterfield. So Tom is CPA, President and CEO of Porterfield company, which provides accounting services, CPA services, but bottom line, Tom guides franchises to financial success. Which is exactly what I want to talk to you about, Tom. So welcome back.
Oh, well, thank you, Rebecca. It's good to be back.
So let's talk franchising.
Let's do.
One of my favorite topics, right? Especially when we can help franchisees be successful and increase their unit level economics. So tell me what's going on with Porterfield and Company and what you're doing with franchisees. If you have interesting stories, I'm always open to hearing those too.
Oh, yeah. And I love that you use the phrase unit level economics. You know, unit level economics is really what it's about when it comes to franchising and understanding those numbers. And, you know, it's like, I don't remember, you know, who it was that was on stage, because there were so many good people at IFA that spoke, so many good keynotes and everything there. But they said, you know, one of the keys, or really the key to having a good franchise network is EBITDA.
EBITDA,
right?
Bottom line.
And it kept on coming back to EBITDA, you know. And, you know, while there's more to life than EBITDA, there is. And, you know, we know there's going to be ups and downs in the market, in the economy and things, and we're not always going to have a positive EBITDA. But understanding metrics is, it's really key to planning for and managing your financial success. And, you know, I love the idea of franchise operations. Yeah, obviously, you know, and, you know, the connection, you know, what you do is you take, you know, perspective, you help people identify prospective franchisees that will work well with the franchisor. What we do, and we serve, you know, franchisors as well as franchisees, but really, you know, the first 17, well, not 17, but the first several years of me owning this company were focused on, you know, compliance, you know, filing a tax return for someone or getting them a financial statement audit because someone required it, right? They're complying. And, you know, we talked in an earlier segment about having your head down and being in the weeds, and then being able to, you know, raise up and say, you know, what do I really want life to look like? And, you know, so we started a journey in our company on many fronts. But one of the fronts was who is our target market? And I think I mentioned earlier, so I'm going to tell another story. Right?
Okay, please do. I love your stories.
So I mentioned Elevate Performance CEO Forums that I've been a member of, CEO Forum 1. In fact, I think I'm the elder member of CEO Forum 1 now. So, you know, we were looking at putting in our office in Fayetteville, and I asked the question of the group, you know, how would we grow in that market, which was just an incredible market anyway. I mean, it's just a lot of growth, a lot of activity in Northwest Arkansas. And a good friend of mine, Michael Palladino, who is a co-founder of Rev Unit in Bentonville, Arkansas. Michael's over there, and he's looking down at his iPad, and I mean, he's just, I don't know, and he's on his phone, and I'm kind of like getting irritated at Michael. I mean, you know, this is my topic, and he's like, yeah, and he's not like paying any attention to this, and he's not going to help me. What's he doing? Is he checking his email? What in the heck is he doing?
How rude.
And then all of a sudden, Michael just like almost shoots up his head just pops up and he says, "Who's your target market?" And I was like, just like that, I was silent.
Like, oh.
And I was like, I blurted out because we had done some very specialty work for a home builder that was part of the forum. And I had done some sales tax rebates and made this home builder, quite a bit of money that he wasn't getting before. So I just said, home builders, just so I didn't sound stupid. And the truth is, we didn't really have any home builder clients. We had done this one special project, for this one, and it had worked out really well. We'd made him a lot of money, like I said, on the projects. But I walked away that day and I started this quest, this search. And, it started maybe with a Google search, something like 10 most profitable small businesses or something like that. And, in that list, there was like doctors and dentists and franchise, franchise was listed, as one of those industries. And I really thought about that over the next 2 weeks. I was really thinking a lot, who is our target market? Really, who is our target market? And I've always worked with franchises. I mean, back to the very beginning of my career with Arthur Anderson, one of my clients. Yeah, one of my clients was Mazzio's Pizza, Ken's Pizza in Tulsa when I started with Anderson. And I loved that company, by the way, and I still like their pizza if I ever have it, not very often, but I loved Ken's too. And I think they love the Ken's original crust. So a little plug for Mazzio's in there if someone's, from the Tulsa area. But we'd also worked with some Little Caesars franchises in our company. And, I just thought more and more about it. I love the idea of franchises because it takes someone and puts them in a system. If they can manage that system, and manage the metrics, they can be successful. And I think about, I was in the boating industry for a while. And there was a president of one of the subsidiaries of the companies that my company worked, or my company owned. And he said they had this thing, they wanted to McDonaldize their company. Okay, so this one subsidiary of this group I worked for. And, the reason they did that, Clint had been a McDonald's franchisee at one time. And he saw the value of processes and things and having a way of doing things. And, that's what we do for our franchise customers. So we really, on this journey, there's a lot of things happening simultaneously. We're working on culture. We've always had values. We've added, another value, accountability, to our core values as a company. But working with Terry Tucker, a business coach that I've worked with, great, influence on my life. Terry one time said, well, the values are great, but, tell me about behaviors.
Right.
I was like, what? Just like, yeah, you've got these values, but the behaviors in your company don't exemplify those. And she was right, so, we've worked on culture. We've got a great culture. We've got a great team. And, what we do today, we try to almost run our company as if it's a franchise, because franchises have a way of doing things, right? They have a process, a way of doing things. And even with our, we do services, right? But we've made them products. And I'll make this, just real quickly. We feel like we serve 4 segments. We have 4 target customers as a result of this quest that Michael Palladino put me on. We serve franchisees, and pharmacists. And then on our audit and attest side, we serve franchisors and not-for-profits. And we really go to market with really 4 products. And those products are what we do, our Compass, which stands for Complete Outsourced Monthly Processes and Accounting Service System. And then we have payroll and HR, which we call SHARP, which is kind of funny the way we spell it, but it's simplified HR and payroll. And then we have CARE, which is Comprehensive Audit and Review Engagement Method, which is our product to our audit and test customers, franchisors, not-for-profits. And then we also, from a consulting perspective, we call it Compass Guide. So we do some training and development, working with Barbara Nuss at Profit Soup, great organization there, doing training. We do consulting and some benchmarking, and we can help franchisors build those systems internally to help support their franchisees. So, kind of wrapping this up, and I don't know how we're doing on time, but we really, what we do is we take those things and we put them in a package so that we can take care of the compliance, right? We can take care of, but what we really want to do, even with our monthly customers, is help them, guide them with a CFO meeting, help them understand their cost structures and if they want to target a certain EBITDA, and we started this with the conversation with EBITDA, but if they want to target a certain EBITDA to create value or to support their lifestyle, then we can break that down and say, well, if you need $100,000 of EBITDA and you've got these variable costs and this fixed cost, and this is your gross margin, dude, you got to generate this much revenue and manage those numbers, and that much revenue broken down by day. So you can tell the people that are in your, front lines, you got to do X amount of revenue per day. At the same time, you're managing the metrics. That's really how they're going to have to, to work to get to that goal that they have. So that's maybe kind of, I don't know, I may have not made it real clear there.
No, you did make it very clear. As a small business owner myself, it's very typical for business owners, entrepreneurs, even franchisors to be kind of big picture oriented, innovative, creative, and they lose sight of the numbers and saying, is this working? Does this idea have an ROI? Am I getting closer or further away? Am I paying too much in cost of goods for this particular outcome? So it's sometimes difficult as a business owner to stop and say, let's look at those numbers. But you don't just look at those numbers, you're constantly helping them look at, here's where you want to go, right? And here are the several factors, including culture and systems and processes, that will help you get there. But the numbers help make those decisions. So the numbers are fodder that ultimately helps them get to where they need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I don't know if we're going to play football this year or not, with the COVID deal. I love college football, by the way. But I think, in business, if you think about running a business, being a business owner, it's a lot like a football game on a Saturday afternoon when a college coach steps on the field. He's got a game plan. And a lot of college coaches, I've heard some say, I never look at the scoreboard. Well, I don't know how you can manage a game if you're not looking at the scoreboard. You got to look at the scoreboard. But, we look at business the same way, and if you think about every month, you've got 4 quarters. They're just weeks, right? And you start the month with a game plan. And if you didn't do as well on your labor content the first week, then you're going to have to make some adjustments the next week, right? And you're going to have to monitor it throughout the month. And then there are some months where you get to go to overtime because you have 5 weeks, right? So, it's a lot like being in a college football game. And, although we don't do, we help some of our customers build scorecards. We use a scorecard internally that we look at every week. We share a lot of numbers with our team members, because I feel like if they understand their performance and how that affects their department and how it affects the overall company, they're going to buy into what we're doing. But if you don't share numbers, they don't know how they're doing. They're playing a game.
You got to keep score.
Yeah.
Got to
Just
keep score.
playing a game and not looking at the scorecards. So Jack Stack wrote a book called The Great Game of Business. It's a really good book. I'll, plug that. A little bit dated, but that's a good book about sharing numbers and things. So, all in all, what we try to do, we try to build a cadence for the routine things, the daily things. So we say that we work with our customers in a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual process, and we know what we're doing for our customers in that cadence. And that's kind of the compliance side of things. But what we do is we wrap it up at the end of the month with an analysis of how well they did and what they've got to do to change and make changes to meet those goals and objectives that they've got. And, the smart ones that we work with, they build some kind of scorecard where they look at it weekly and they can kind of work with their team to make adjustments throughout that month so that they don't get to the end of the month and they're surprised by their numbers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what great advice. And this is a topic I could talk about forever as a business owner myself, and why numbers are so important to managing a business. So I may have to have you back for another conversation about this topic. But for now, I'm going to cut us off and ask you to come back at another time. Thanks,
Thank you.
Tom.